Hello and welcome to the High Lows podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons adventure set in the world of Taraz. I'm Philip Martin, your Dungeon Master, and with me is ASHMEEDIA.
Welcome. A round of sneers to our fan favourite, Tweak Nubbleton.
Next up, we've got Daniel Fletcher, the fan favourite himself, and I say this as one person has told me this.
Bring on the horde of fans. You're making me blush.
Next up, we have Mimbo Wang, middle of the pack tonight.
Hey everyone, I do somewhat object to your sample size.
This is fair, it is statistically not accurate. Coming up second to last tonight, we have Lizzie McPherson.
Hey lovelies.
And last in the order tonight is Laurie Crawford.
Unfortunately, I've only got one fan, and it blows.
Haha, haha.
That was awesome.
So previously on the High Lows podcast, the group had just leveled up to level 4 and gained a variety of new abilities. We did a flashback to Callum having a revelation during the night that there was a portal to some other place, not particularly far away. The rest of the group also did a quick update on the new stuff, which included Chuck mentioning that he was taking more of an interest in his wisdom and religious pursuits. As they arose, they realized that the Steel Defender Giznat had worked overnight to clear the staircase leading up and hopefully out of this part of the underground. They'd also managed to completely fill their water skins overnight thanks to the trickle of water in this location. Then, after gathering themselves, they moved up the stairs, and as they did, the breeze grew much stronger. As they got to the top, they realized the reason, as they had finally reached the chasm. Candle gave a little bit more information about the chasm as they explored the area and mentioned that there was a group of harpies and other creatures which also took up residence in this place. But there was also a bridge leading across. Baracus, with his enhanced vision, was able to see the other side of the chasm from the place they came into it, which was about 80 feet away, and he could see at the other end that the dwarven ruins were continuing. Thistle switched to her giant wolf spider form and did some exploring using her spider climb ability, and after getting her first glimpse of sunlight, moved to moving downwards and away from the group, she took a pause and basked in the warmth before eventually moving on. As she explored to the east, she could hear beautiful singing, but was able to shrug off the sound and was unaffected by it. She also explored upwards, and upon realizing that this could take them back to the mushroom forest, she did not tell the group that this was possible, as she didn't personally want to go back there. Eventually, the group decided that it would be best to try to take the harpy-controlled bridge, which, despite the risk, would be their best chance of crossing this deadly gap and reaching Homestead. And this is where we'll begin. So you guys, I believe, had decided you were going to go eastward towards this the bridge, hopefully.
Yeah, I think that was the plan. I think we were talking about tying ourselves together with the one rope we do have, and hopefully no one falls.
And stuffing our ears with something so we don't get, charmed off the edge.
True.
And so there is essentially like this ridge of stone that's sort of jutting out of the rock and such. And you can walk across this, but it is quite precarious. It averages about just a little bit under 5 feet, or maybe 4.5 feet wide, but you could start squeezing across. You can see that it does get skinnier in some places, but as far as you can see, it does continue. Although Baracus, with your enhanced vision, you can see that after about 80 feet, it does start to get quite skinny, and you would have noticed that too, Thistle, on your scouting. So if you were to take that way, a hard bit does come after about 80 feet, but otherwise it looks fine as far as you can see.
Well, I guess we'd probably want to put whoever's the most confident with their climbing up front. I'm guessing that might be you, Baracus. Besides, Spider Girl and Catman.
So Tweak, you mentioned clogging our ears. Do you have anything in your pack that? Have you been concoctioning it up anything?
I'm just looking now. I can't really find anything that would fit in there nicely.
Yeah, I doubt I'd want to put whatever you created in my ear. Because I knew what it was. I haven't got much in my pack.
I have some playing cards. roll them up in balls, and maybe after a little bit of chewing, it'll be moist, and you just stuff them in your ears.
We've probably still got some of those rags, don't we? Like the old prisoner uniforms.
I guess we could do that.
Be our best bet.
So I think with just rags, you might reduce the range, but you will still eventually be able to hear them.
We don't have something like candles or wax or something, do we?
The benefit of that is that you would still be able to hear each other, of course.
And how would that affect Baracus and my blind sight? Because that's the other important thing.
There's nothing in rule about like losing blind sight being affected by your ears, so I think you still have it. Blind sight is a magical thing.
Cool.
I don't suppose anyone has any bat guano. Damn that in our ears.
No, I don't.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of sturges in the room before they would have some feces.
Yeah, I was thinking there. Surges, we'd have to backtrack, but I mean, I don't know how caustic their leavings would be. I mean, if we just wrapped something around our heads, yeah, well, it may not prove as effective, but how far would you say it is to back to that the Sturges?
Not far.
Really bit of a silly one. I know. I'm assuming she can still do it. Thistle did have that spell that deafened people.
I'm assuming that's sort of a single target type of deal.
Turn to Thistle. Is that a single person thing or?
Let me think about it, and I'll get back to you.
I guess the question's more directed at Chuck, because you are in form, yeah?
Oh, no,
I can still speak with her.
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I think that'll last an extra few minutes.
So blindness and deafness is a single target spell unless you cast it at a higher level. Funnily enough, it is not concentration.
Okay. So I could do that for one person.
It would only last 1 minute, though.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
I have bits and bobs in my my leatherworks tools. Little bits of leather. Some strippings.
If you were to sort of make something up with leather and some rags, it might reduce the range a little bit more. It's still eventually you would be able to hear. Like, it wouldn't cut off all your hearing.
But we might be able to get to if we see them, we might be able to not hear them at that range.
Yes.
So at least we'd be prepared.
Okay, well, I'll let me work on some earbuds. And I'll sit down cross-legged. I'll pull the leatherworks out and start crafting some buds for the ears. My ones are extra large, given my extra large ear holes.
Yeah, that's fair. So there's some stuff like basic materials you could use. You don't need a lot of material for ear holes, and you could sort of replenish this stuff somewhere. There'd be a few little patchy strips of leather. Actually, high or lows?
Lows.
Yeah, there's only enough for 3 people.
Okay. I've got enough for 3 people, and we can deafen someone.
Yeah.
I wonder if you deafen one of the creatures, will it make their singing talent diminished? Will it be difficult for them to actually cast that spell?
Give me an Arcana check, I suppose.
Okay. 16?
There's no reason to think that it would, but maybe. Blindness might mess them up more in that situation, because then they're at least they don't necessarily know what's going on. But yeah, your call.
I'm just looking, as I'm looking around this cabin, we've got at least 80 foot or so run or walk, as it were, across this bridge. Things might get a bit narrow towards the end up there, but I'm assuming at one stage we're going to be kind of running, not necessarily engage these potential harpies, but just to try to run to solid ground.
Yeah, that would make sense.
What are you thinking?
Well, I have a feeling that you are probably going to be the most adept at climbing. I'm not terrible at it. Like, I'm quick, but you're probably a bit stronger than I.
So where does then that? Where does it fall for us to have an anchor at the bottom or at the front?
I'm just thinking that maybe it might be best to put them in the middle. Because at least then, if the first person falls, it's only you that's kind of pulling them up instead of the second person who most likely will fall as well.
Tilt your head to the left, Baracus, and crouch down for me so I can have a good look in your ear hole.
Got it.
Yes, there's some hairs in there, which will do fine.
Never mind the hairs. Will it work or not?
Haven't found the brain yet. This should be a good size. I put in one of my earbuds that I've just created. How's that fit?
Quite snobby. I might keep one of them open until we get closer. I'm assuming balance is going to be an issue. But it feels fine.
Who else wants this?
Yeah, I'll definitely take one.
It won't put you off, will it? I mean, don't you need your hearing for like sonar sensors or something?
I have a feeling it'll be okay. Might be a little off-putting at first, but give me a couple of minutes to get used to it.
Let's go full Helen Keller.
Well, I can climb, but I ain't really so strong these days. I'm a little bit old, so I don't know if I'll be able to hold on to anyone if they fall. But I'll do my best.
Did you want to be on the rope as well?
That's up to y'all. I'm happy to be on there, but if things go bad and I gotta cut you, I'll cut you. I suppose I'd rather be at the end.
Yep, that's fair. I mean, you're probably the least likely to fall unless the harpies get you.
I should be safe here. I got these claws.
You should probably put the strongest in the front and the strongest on the end.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm just considering it, and
I should be in the middle. I mean, if I go over, I'm not exactly going to drag everyone with me. But I'm not going to be any help on the end.
Yeah. Actually, I kind of think the second, if there's 5 of us, the second and fourth position would be the best for the better climbers. Because they're kind of, like, the more people, the weaker climbers and the weaker people, the more there are on one side of a stronger climber, the more people they have to potentially lift up. That's all my worries are.
I guess also it also depends on who's kind of picking out the path and the direction. I think that's important as well.
I have a feeling I'm probably going to be not a terrible climber, but if I fell, I'm definitely the heaviest here at the weaker climbers.
Brax is wearing that chainmail. He falls. That's gonna be heavy.
Yeah, but he's probably a bit stronger than me. He can probably hold on a bit better. But I was thinking maybe potentially me in the middle with Candle and Baracus either side, and then maybe Chuck on Candle's side because he's probably the lightest if anything happens. But that would mean either Chuck or Tweak at the front, which again you probably don't want.
Whichever has good kind of you're pretty good at close range. I've seen, and one in the front needs to be able to pick out a safe path. You might actually be better than I in that regard.
Look, I'll go up front. It's probably, I'm not super confident in my climbing, but I'm probably a quicker climber than some. And at least if I'm in the front, I can defend those behind.
I'll go next then.
And I suppose Thistle can kind of just hover above my head almost.
Ah, shit. What about the fucking that metal thing?
I don't think it'll have an issue.
How heavy is it?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be moving without Giznat. Would you... I know it would definitely suck, but if we didn't tie it on, it would be less of an issue.
Well, it doesn't have ears. How could it possibly?
That's actually a good point.
And in regards to my my armor. I can doff it. I can doff it pretty quickly, but I think if the best place for me to hold the armor is on me. If I've got to carry it somehow, and it's just going to be dead weight if I take it off anyway. As far as that goes,
You can't fit your defender in your bag, can you?
Hmm. I can wear it.
oh, you do have that nifty bag, yes.
But they can just walk behind us.
So who's the best knot tier? What are we going by for knots? Is it survival, sleight of hand?
I'm happy to go either or.
I'm not bad at either.
I'm okay at sleight of hand.
Oh, that's right, you got your thing, didn't you? Yeah, if you feel confident with knots, then I suppose start with me and tie everyone behind.
Okay, here we go. 8.
I was about to say, assuming we can help.
Yeah, you can have advantage. 8 total? I thought you had like good sleight of hand now.
23.
You start tying some good knots. I don't need you to roll checks for every knot. You just tie knots around whoever wants to roll.
Phew. If you had to do every person, there's such a good chance that you get a low one.
I just don't know if that's good podcast.
So what? It's myself, then Baracus, then who's in the middle? Just so we can get this down for Phil.
I guess I'll be in the middle. I'll tie myself in nice and tight.
And then do you go Chuck Candle or Candle Chuck? And where does the Still Defender go?
The Still Defender doesn't, I don't think, requires to be tied.
Well, maybe the Steel Defender can go behind Chuck and just be ready to catch him if something happens or something. He gets caught.
Yeah, so you're not tying up the Steel Defender. You're just going to make it walk behind you, and if it falls, you make a new one.
Maybe take Giznat with you.
Giznat is on my person right now.
Good.
Yeah, so the Steel Defender is just in auto-follow mode.
In other words, what it's been the whole time.
Okay, so what do you want to do? Is it go Tweak and then Chuck, or Candle next?
I'll go Chuck. A Candle, then Chuck. Chuck is in the end.
Okie dokie. You are all tied up together, ready to go. So you're all still wearing your armor and everything, those of you that wear armor?
I could tie this Still Defender. You know, I mean, if it's not going to go over, then it's just going to be an anchor point, isn't it? On the end. I'll tie the Still Defender at the end.
Yeah. How much space are you tying, leaving between you?
A good foot, maybe 2 foot.
So not a lot.
Well, a 60-foot rope. And some of us, looking at you, Chuck, are a bit more rotund.
I'd say as much can.
Like, there's probably, if you're using the whole rope, there'd probably be, like, we're wearing a square each, essentially, 5 feet.
Okay, well, 4 feet between each one then. Let me just move this slack here.
So 4 feet.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to think length of a rope. That makes about sense.
I think if you're tying it around your waist, you probably need, and doing all the knots, you probably need about 5 feet or so, like to do a solid knot. And that's probably being like too much. I don't know. Don't want to get too technical on knots and stuff like that. So yeah, 4 feet, you'd easily be able to get 5 of you in a 50-foot rope.
Cool.
And the Still Defender.
Sure, I'm still a defender. You don't need too much rope for your knots. Because at the moment, you're mostly just wrapping it around. Most of the knotting is at the ends. Unless you're doing full harness, but really you're just wrapping it around everyone's waist.
Chuck, Candle, did you want ear blockers? They seem to be working okay.
Yeah, I mean, certainly.
Here we go.
So who's wearing the ear blockers?
I have ear blockers. And we have one for Callum. And I didn't give it to anyone else at this point, but did you say I could make 6 of them?
I said 3.
Well, 3 pairs.
Yep.
Like for 3 people?
Yeah.
Yeah, so is anyone not as wise? Who is more able to be influenced?
I mean, I'm as wise as the next fella.
We're going to have this discussion here.
Well, who wants the I mean, Chuck, here we go. I guess it's for you. So Callum and Chuck and myself. I feel Thistle's wise enough. She probably doesn't require it.
He's passed the check already.
Oh, yes. I don't think it affects you again from somebody saying that in the last episode?
Breaking the fourth wall a little. But yes, you're right. Well, let's go.
Okay. So you start proceeding down, or east. So you have to climb up a little bit, and then you basically get onto this little ledge. That is, as I said before, averages about 4 feet wide. And you start moving along. And we've got Callum at the start, who can only see 10 feet ahead of him, but thanks to his way he sees things, he's got a pretty intimate view of the rock and how it's shaped.
Closer to 20, but yeah, you're right.
Oh, 20 now. Okay, cool. And you guys start proceeding ahead. So we've got Baracus and Candle in the 4th positions that don't have things in their ears. What are you doing, Thistle?
I'm going towards where I heard that sound.
Yep, so you going ahead, or are you sort of going with the group, or what?
I'll go ahead. I mean, I'm a lot faster than them, and climbing isn't as much of an issue for me as others.
Yeah, how far ahead are you trying to stay?
20 to 30.
Okay, cool. You guys start advancing ahead in this order. As you get about about 20 feet away from the starting point here at the chasm, the collapsed bridge, I suppose. It's not a bridge, actually, just the collapsed ruin that you come out of. You see that there's a narrow section. It's only about 10 feet of narrow section, but below that there is nothing. If you fall to nothing. And Baracus, you've been able to see this as well. So you're able to get to this section without too much trouble.
The bridge that we're on or coming to, how are we looking at a rickety kind of passage here?
It's not you haven't been able to see the bridge. You just believe that the bridge is to the east now because Thistle heard the singing and Candle has said that the harpies nest near the bridge. You're just going against like a rocky sort of ledge, and it becomes skinny up ahead, which you're able to get to that skinny bit relatively easily.
Okay. Yeah, just have that bag there ready, Tweak. I might need to doff this armor and chuck it in there if things get hairy.
I wonder if it's a big nest. Well, I was thinking I could just throw my alchemy fire at it. Watch the whole place light up.
Yeah, why not?
Let's give this a go. I suppose there'll always be 2 people on the ledge at once, pretty much.
I'd like to hear them sing when they're under fire.
Yeah, 2 to 3. There'll pretty much be one person going on as one person is going off.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to need either a dex check or an athletics check as you move along.
Oh, I'm glad you added that first one. I was nervous otherwise.
I feel like it's both. Like, you can sort of hold on through, like, just through sheer athleticism or just being dexterous and, like, knowing how to plant yourself.
Okay, first roll.
I know most DMs might not run games this way, but also, this is my game.
Yeah, guess what? Nat 1.
Yeah, it is.
It adds up to 7, but it's still not very good.
That's exactly the number Phil was looking for.
Okay, nat 1. So, with a nat 1, I need you to give me either a strength or dex saving throw.
I did a dex just then, so will that default to strength?
That was a dex check. No, it's fine. This saving throw can be either a strength or a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, phew.
I'm going to reach for him as well as soon as I see that.
Oh, 25.
Whenever that comes in.
Okay, so you basically, as soon as you step out, you just miss your footing and start slipping, but are able to reach your hand out, grab onto some stone, or grab onto the rope pretty much. One hand on the rope, one hand on it, like a little stone handhold, and you're able to secure yourself.
Don't step there. That's... Whoa. Fuck.
I knew blocking his ears was a bad idea.
Okay. But you are still in the rock. Okay. So athletics or dex check to proceed.
Myself again and Brachus this time?
Well, still you. You've got to start going, but Brachus will be right after you.
Oh, 25.
Yeah, so you start proceeding across this thing, Brachus.
Mm-hmm.
So whose idea was it to put a blind deaf person at the front of the party?
Hey, he's good close up, and I just rolled a nat 20.
I pause for half a moment, give him the finger, and keep climbing.
And Tweak, you're next.
Oh, That will be 15.
Yep, you're not quite as going adept as the other guys. Now that they're fully settled into this, they look like pretty adept climbers. Or it's not really climbing; it's more just holding and squeezing. You're finding it, but you're a bit smaller, so you're actually able to find some new handholds for you down below. And then, well, this Candlelight doesn't actually have to do this. He has a climbing speed, so he can just dig his claws in and do this. So that leaves Chuck.
Yeah.
You have to do an athletics check or athletics or dexterity check as you start climbing along this narrow ledge.
How much distance?
About 10 feet to get to the next side of it, where it widens up a bit again.
Okay, sure. Definitely dex check. So 21.
Nice. Yeah, you're doing absolutely fine. So it looks like the group is doing very well, other than that little fumble right at the very start.
Would my Steel Defender need to do it?
Yes, the Steel Defender does, but the Steel Defender is more expendable than the rest.
8?
8. So the Steel Defender steps out and with its autopilot doesn't get the stepping right and starts to fall. I need either a strength or a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 19.
Okay, well, was that a strength or dex?
Strength.
So the Steel Defender, as it steps out and falls, manages to jam its fist into the side of the rock and grab onto something and clamp down its foot and sort of just sort of hold still. Just like, Chuck, you would have just felt the rope starting to pull downwards as this metal automaton started to fall into nothing below. Okay, so give me that check again.
A save or a check?
You manage to save and you can sort of scramble back up to the ledge, but you still have to make the check to pass.
19.
Okay, this time you are able to proceed and get all the way across. So this is when you start to hear some singing. Mostly it would be Baracus and Candle. You can just hear it very faintly at the moment. I think you might need to be a bit closer for it to actually affect you. And you're basically more hearing the echo as it travels through the chasm.
Well, I guess we might as well keep pushing on.
Has anyone got eyes on it yet?
Thistle would be the best one to have eyes on it, being closest, but no, she does not. Again, it's very dark down here. But why don't you give me a perception check? With disadvantage if you've got earplugs in, the hearing one.
Only 10 here.
Natural.
Natural 1. And for you, Callum. Thistle, this would be a good one for you.
I'm just checking something. 18 plus 6, that's 24.
24. So you see this. Well, you hear it more. You hear the singing, but beyond the singing, you can hear footsteps from above. They seem to be moving towards you. This is like way above. You can sort of hear the of someone moving at speed towards. Not really towards you. It's still like sort of, it's up and a few hundred feet ahead, but you can hear these footsteps. Candle also hears them and sort of is like looking up there, but he doesn't actually say anything because like it's not very loud. You would also be able to hear the flapping of wings in a similar location, but not quite the same place. But the group can move on. I don't know if you stopped when you hear this, or do you just continue moving on? It's not loud, it's still fairly faint.
I continued moving.
Excellent. So you continue moving on, and it doesn't take too much longer, maybe another 10 seconds before you realize what the sound of that is, as you see a body, some sort of body running off of the edge of the chasm below. Well, you can't really see it, actually. You can more hear it. You hear those footsteps getting a bit louder, a bit louder, a bit louder, and then something seems to launch themselves off of the chasm, fall for a while, and then a crunch.
Did it land on something?
The way, even from a bit of the chasm that you've gone down on this ridge, you can see that it's not even. It's not like clean like a mountain. It's very craggy. There's various things sticking out.
Did you know him, Candle?
I don't know what that was. Might have been some newcomer, or I don't know. I can't see anything.
I think the plan should be we just keep walking, even when we're fighting and attacking. Just keep walking for that bridge.
It's not a bad plan.
Okay. And so after that happens, the singing sort of dies down. But Baracus, you would hear like laughter, and then the wings sort of get more flappy. You hear you can hear the wings clearly. Maybe the people with the ears plugged don't, but the people that don't hear flying creatures seem to have found their dinner for today.
We should pick up the pace. They can hear them distantly up ahead.
Maybe they might be distracted by that. We'll have a chance to get across the bridge.
And so this part of the ridge is actually a little bit wider. It's sort of about 5 to 6 feet wide.
I suppose that makes for a little bit quicker movement.
Yep. And always gonna just keep an eye out for just like the bridge starts getting a bit dodgy, and our footing and stuff, and yell out if I see anything.
Yeah, so you continue moving on the ledge. And you can't hear the singing for now, but you're choosing to move at as fast as you sort of can safely.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think we'd be moving probably as fast as Tweak can, because I think he's probably the slowest.
Okay. Let me check something. Okay, the path ledge, it sort of starts going ever so steadily inclining up. And you can see that it kind of continues doing that for a while. It's not a steep incline, and it just keeps on going. It goes as far as you can sort of see. It's not even and smooth, but it does start inclining up.
If Tweak puts the rope between my legs, would I be off the ground? The tightness, it'll pick me up off the ground so I don't have to walk?
I think you're better off walking.
If they moved further away from you, yes, could.
I could just cradle in this rope, and then that's one less person that would slip.
It doesn't look like there's any slip hazards right now. It's more that it's just a slight, basically a steady incline upwards as far as you can see.
Well, let's keep going up then. Nowhere else to go.
So you continue onwards, and I'll take another round of perception checks as you go on. Again, disadvantage if you have earplugs in.
Waste of a 20. I got 9.
14 plus 6, 20.
5.
Yeah, I didn't do very well. 9.
9. Okay, and Brachus? 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Thistle, you hear wings, the flapping of wings moving in your general direction. And before you sort of do anything to react to that, the singing starts again. And I'm going to need wisdom saving throws from Baracus and Candle. So since I'm playing Candle, I will have to do that.
Okay, has the singing been mitigated at all? This first check?
No, it's still just a normal check. Because you didn't get earplugs.
I think I did.
There were only 3 good sets made, and they went to Chuck, Callum, and Tweak, I thought.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I probably would have gone with that because I am quite wise.
I did actually put it in Baracus' ears first, so that could be my mistake. Yours is just a test model, Baracus.
he just put gunk in my ears. Here I am thinking.
You were the mold.
Yeah, I'm happy to say that you wrapped your head like as you were talking about that, and you put something to dull it. But even so, they're actually closer than their maximum range right now.
They're after you, Phil.
Oh, can you guys hear that? That's bad.
That's fine.
It's some alarm system of some sort, maybe a car alarm. There it goes.
It's getting jacked up the front.
17.
17. Yeah, you shrug it off and you're fine. And both. Well, that's disappointing, isn't it?
No, that's great.
For you. I'll be right back. 2 minutes.
Good. So now that's 3 people immune to it, so that's good.
Could have been a 7, mind you. There's a hair off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're a paladin, so you add your proficiency to wisdom, don't you?
Well, no, I've got wisdom proficiency. Yeah. That's exactly what you said.
I should get like an advantage. Because I've got like a crutch and an ass in my face as far as we go up this hill.
Aren't you a lucky man?
Oh, yeah.
Takes a deep sniff.
No, I'm thinking of a human centipede thing going on right now.
It's a bit too low for that, unfortunately. Though his mouth is probably about the right height.
Gross. Just gross, guys. I leave for 2 minutes, and what does the podcast become? Okay, so yeah, you guys start making up. You can hear the song now. And they're onto you. Maybe we should actually enter initiative now, but I think we can keep it out of initiative as you guys proceed on. I mean, unless you guys want to sort of engage them in combat.
Do we have eyes on the target?
Oh, Thistle can hear them. And you can hear the singing, obviously.
Let's just head down and run.
Heads
Yeah.
down and run. I think we will actually do initiative. It feels right. Because I sort of want to know how far you've gotten and how far you're getting. So everyone can roll initiative.
That's 19 from Thistle.
14.
21. I mean, it might only matter really for group initiative and Thistle and the Harpy. Because we're all moving at one.
Yeah, that's fair. But this might turn into a combat real quick.
True dat.
So it's 14 for Brackus, 21 for Callum.
Mm-hmm.
Candle, 2, Tweak,
10.
and Chuck.
6.
It's pretty close to the actual order of the rope, actually, except for Candle being an outlier. And otherwise, it's pretty much bang on.
Damn it, Candle.
He's a rogue. He's Dexy.
That human centipede reference is amazing.
I thought it was lame.
So yeah, it is basically group enemy. Right after, the way it works though is Chuck will technically be first to act. It will go Chuck, Candle, Callum, Thistle, Baracus, Tweet. But some people may not have much to do, and some people may have more to do than others. Basically, as far as like combat goes, you're within 5 feet of whoever's next to you in the rope, because that's the space you have. Like, you're not squeezing or anything. You're just adjacent to that person. Does that make sense? And you got about 50 feet into this incline before you started hearing this song, because the Harpies did very well on their perception check, and you guys were particularly not being quiet. So even though they're distracted by a recent kill, they are still onto you. And you can run at a reasonable pace. I'm going to say that you can't really dash very well with the rope tied around you, but you can go your normal movement speed, if that makes sense.
Cool.
But I'm assuming the group is, well, you've said the group is going forward.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So you managed to get about another 60 feet forward before the people with their ears plugged begin to hear something. And if you go any more forward, you will be affected by this. My beautiful hobby singing. Come to us and we'll eat you. You look tasty, that you do. Something like that.
Oh, I want out of this.
Don't stop, please, don't stop. I'm enjoying it.
Well, I'm up front first, so I guess I'll be the first to do the wisdom save.
Mm-hmm.
Haha, 7.
7. Your actions do not change. You continue forward.
Do I have to take a save now?
Yes, you do.
16.
16, you're fine. And finally, Chuck.
Oh, that's bad. 9.
9. Okay, here's the thing. You guys are charmed, but your actions do not change as you are still just moving forward at pace. So, you continue doing this, and It's odd. You've gotten about an extra 80 feet, and well, actually, Baracus, you would have seen a ledge up ahead. Once everyone else started hearing the harpy song, you would have heard a ledge better. Yeah. But the group is just continuing on at pace. And that ledge is getting closer and closer. And Callum isn't slowing down.
Keep going, Callum. You're making good ground, mate. Keep it up.
How much gap is there between that ledge?
A lot. You don't know what's in front of that. Thistle, you'd still be moving faster than the group. So you would see that this ledge becomes like a drop for 40 feet. Like a 40-foot drop down to like another slightly even wider outcropping. And then it goes about 30 feet. And then, it was about 60 feet. And then there is another climb to get back up.
Okay, well, I'll alert Callum and Chuck so they know and they can pass along the message to whoever's around them.
That's so perfect. That is perfect.
I'm
assuming we've been climbing more than 10 minutes, so I think my talk with base have turned off anyways.
You messed around for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Beforehand. But you actually probably have only been climbing for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm actually not going to wait that long. If I see this edge coming up and he is pitching straight forward towards it, I am tackling around. I don't know what's going on, but I did hear that music.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to say that, like, because I will say that you can do that probably at about 60 feet away from it. You sort of realize something is up, that he hasn't responded, he's not saying anything. Does that make sense? Is that fair?
Yeah, that sounds fair to me.
So give me an athletics check as you try to tackle.
Hey! What are you doing?
Is this opposed?
Yeah.
I thought it was a 2. 16.
I beat you.
You did?
I rolled an 18. Got a plus 2.
You rolled an 18. So I will say that this does slow your progress down. And you are about 20 feet. You slow you down a little bit, and Callum is sort of dragging this rope thing along. I will sort of slip into initiative order a little bit now, and I will start with Callum just because that's the rope, because above that's Candle anyway. And I'll say, well, Thistle, what are you doing as you see Baracus try to tackle Callum?
I'm conflicted, but then I think I try to like make a tisk noise to like don't tackle type of thing at Baracus.
Mm-hmm. Baracus, sorry, is that it?
Yeah.
Baracus, it is technically your turn yet, but I feel like the tackle was kind of your turn in this. But no, I'll let you try again.
Other than that, I would kind of I'm looking around for, is there anything like that I can kind of loop the end of rope that I have around and just basically put this whole thing to a stop?
Give me a perception check.
Okay. That one.
Yeah, you don't see anything. Like, you see some rocks and stuff, but they don't look like they give you they just slip off because they're not even big enough.
Yeah.
But you are still you're planted. You might even be prone right now, sort of being dragged along to sort of slow Callum down.
Yeah, good enough for now. I'll just yell out, "Something's wrong with Callum. I don't know what's going on behind me."
Tweak. You see all this, Baracus is prone in front of you after trying to tackle Callum. And he's just said all this. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna pull out my water skin and I'm gonna squirt him. Snap out of it, Callum.
Yeah, you can do that. You can squirt some. You got full bursting into the brim water skins right now.
Like hose him like a naughty cat.
Yeah, he's not far. He's only 10 feet away from you, so you can definitely get a bunch of water on him as you squeeze it out. It doesn't change what he's doing, though.
That's my turn.
The singing continues. Chuck, you're also doing this. You're sort of at the back, though, and no one is aware. You're just continuing moving forward. So, no, yeah, you would just be walking. You would just be walking forward. this is the most direct route. You can't really squeeze past anyone, so you're just going with the flow. And like the group doesn't know because the only one behind you is the steel defender who can't tell anyone. Anyway, although I will give Callum a Candle a check. Candle doesn't really know what to do up at the back, and he doesn't notice Chuck. Callum, you continue forward. This particular charm just makes you move towards the harpy. So you just continue forward. I'm going to say you get like 20 feet as you're dragging Baracus behind you.
I take it from that I don't get any saves.
Do not get any saves. Not yet. And so at this point, you're about 20 feet away from this ledge. Thistle.
Just trying to think.
You don't have the time to.
Yeah, you're in spider form, but you could move to him. You could do things. You could affect either Baracus or Callum.
Yeah, all right. I'll join. I'll join those two, and I'll try and like whack Callum out of it with my very thin spider legs. So I doubt it would do anything.
So you're trying to grapple?
Yeah.
Yeah. So make a strength check, athletics.
He has a
Okay.
chance. I didn't roll very well.
15.
Oh, just.
So Thistle in spider form is just looking upon this whole scene quizzically, and all of a sudden makes a move, and you almost slip out of the way, but she's got you.
So I've got him pinned to the ground?
Yeah, you're not able to make him prone. You just sort of have his legs wrapped up, and his speed is 0 right now. He cannot move forward.
Sweet, thinking I just needed the visual in my head.
Yeah. Baracus, you see all this ahead of you. Directly ahead of you.
Sure. I turn around. I kind of assess. I say stop. And if no one does that, I'm kind of readying to tackle them to the ground.
Okay, that's fair. Tweak.
I will start slapping him in the face. Get out of it, Callum. Wake up.
What's your
Dragged along by a spider.
What's your strength modifier?
-1.
-1. You can roll to hit, but you're not going to do any damage because you're just not strong enough.
I'll hit him in the head with my.
Also, technically, Baracus, your action might go off because Tweak tries to run past you to get to Callum. So I think you tried to tackle Tweak as he does not stop and he tries to get past you.
Yeah.
Tweak, Baracus is trying to tackle you as you try to squeeze past him.
I think you're like.
I just
compelled.
jump onto his chest and start punching the shit out of him. My -1 strength.
Yeah, but I think you have to get past Baracus to get to Callum, right?
Yeah, but is he hostile?
Baracus was basically there waiting to tackle anyone that tried to go past him.
Thinking that they might be kind
Still
of not in their
also
right minds.
Do you tackle me?
And you
I
look
think-
like it. So yeah.
You mean
I
athletics
never
check?
look like I'm in the right mind.
Yeah, so I think Baracus tries to tackle you. Baracus, give me an athletics check.
So it's a 12.
Tweak, give me an acrobatics or a strength or athletics.
It is 17 plus -1 athletics 16.
16, cool. So that you get past, right? Yeah, you get past. 16 beats 12. Yes, that's maths. Good maths. You get past and you go and try to start slapping Callum around.
Who has already been subdued.
There's just basically this pile as Baracus slips and tries to tackle Tweak, and then the singing continues, and then Chuck steps over unconscious, sort of prone Baracus, and starts walking ahead, and just squeezes past everyone, to just in front of Callum because Tweak went ahead to him. And dragging the steel defender behind him. You're so just a tangled mess right now.
I'll bonus action call out to or as a free action, just call out to Boa. Anchor down to the side.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you can do that, and it'll basically give someone advantage in something. Because, there is still a drag, but someone will have an advantage to sort of do something, I think. Okay, Candle sees all this, and Candle is right next to Chuck, and everyone else is somewhat indisposed. Oh, what the hell is Candle gonna do? Candle is going to shrug, pull out a dagger, get the blunt end, and try to brain Chuck. And he gets a nat 20. Chuck is taking a bit more damage than he should. So Chuck, you take 8 damage, but you get to make a wisdom save.
I'm afraid it's a natural 1.
So you continue walking. You're still 15 feet away from this ledge, dragging this tangled mess of people and rope towards this 40-foot drop. Callum, you are also right there, currently with a spider wrapped around your legs. So I think you are still trying to move away. You're just trying to wrap out of the way. So I think you just need to try to do... It's another contested check.
I only rolled 7, so 13.
13. And Thistle, athletics or acrobatics? Oh no, just athletics for you.
Oh yeah, athletics for me. Nat 20. Can you beat?
No, he cannot. You keep on. Callum is just trying to worm his way out of your legs, spidery grasp, but cannot. Thistle, it is your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna just try and pin Callum down before he does something stupid.
You're just going to try to keep him pinned down?
Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to be more useful at.
So you can just maintain the grapple, but that's really all you can do. You can't make it more intense, I don't.
I'm just trying to think, what magic do I have that I can disable him? But no, I'll save that for the next person.
So you just hanging on for dear life, keeping him...
Restraining him with my legs.
Baracus.
Yeah, alright. So I saw what Candle tried to do, and I saw the kind of almost glazed look leave Chuck, so I'm going to try the same thing. I'm trying to hit him non-lethal.
Well, I think it's obvious that these people are running towards a ledge and bringing you with them. So the idea of hitting them to see what happens is not outside of reason at this point. So who are you going for? Who are you trying to hit?
I'm trying to lay Chuck low.
Chuck, roll to hit. You sort of step over Cam. You step. It's very squeezy right now. Actually, this might be with disadvantage because it's so squeezy to get up. You've got to squeeze next to in between Candle and Callum on the spider.
But he's up and about, right? Chuck's up and ready to go and run, so there should be a clear path at least to him.
If you're using melee, it is, but there's so many people behind him because you're on opposite ends of the rope, so all the people are squeezed into a small space between you. So because of the way the way it's all happened. So if you're using a melee attack, it's going to be at disadvantage because of squeezing, unfortunately.
Alrighty.
Or essentially 3/4 cover. And if it's a range attack, it will also be 3/4 cover. So squeezing with disadvantage for a melee attack, or 3/4 cover for a ranged attack.
It's okay. I didn't roll too bad, so it was 16 to hit.
Chuck, I believe that would hit you.
I assume I would not try to defend myself, right?
No, you are functionally incapacitated and are just doing one thing.
Okay.
So that hits. Roll your damage.
Yeah, 12 points to try to put down damage.
Oof. Fucking Chuck just getting hit hard. But another wisdom save.
Oh, natural 20.
You shake it off. Your head really hurts, but you are no longer charmed by the harpies. So that was Baracus. Tweak, you are sort of in the pile right near this. It's all one pile. It's all one pile at this point. But Tweak, you're on top of Callum's top half, as Thistle in spider form is on his bottom half.
I will reach to my backpack, pull out a shovel, and smash him on the head with a shovel.
Okay.
Wake up!
Roll strength with advantage because he is prone. I think at this point, like he's just been wrapped up.
15 minus 1.
What's your AC, Callum?
I think that'll miss. Because, well, yeah, well, it's probably safe to say I'm climbing without my shield on. So
Yep.
it would be 15 in theory. But,
14.
So Tweak grabs a shovel and just tries to swing it hard down at your head, and you manage to dodge out of the way at the last possible minute. The Steel Defender is next, and it's up in the mix if you want to use your bonus action.
I will get the Steel Defender to kick him in the nuts.
Okay, roll the hit.
15!
That hits! Roll your damage, and Callum can do a wisdom saving throw.
Square in the nuts while he's being held down.
13?
Passes!
Good.
But how much damage was it, sorry?
10 points of damage.
10 points of damage as you're kicked in the nuts by a metal automaton, but your nuts really hurt.
Cut his rope and push him off.
And as all this happens, you hear the singing continues, and as the movement sort of stops, you hear voices in common saying, "Ah, blast! Didn't work! We'll have to do this the old-fashioned way!" And that's, I think, where we'll end this episode of the podcast. That's it for this episode of the High or Lows podcast. If you'd like to get in touch, you can find us on Twitter at High or Lows with underscores between the words, or you can find me at Feepster.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed listening, please leave us a 5-star rating and review, which is one of the best ways you can support us. You can also join the discussion on our Reddit and Facebook pages, or even our Discord server, and maybe play some games with us. Links can be found in the description below. Special thanks to Sirenscape for the background audio and Alex McPherson for providing the opening theme. I hope you can all join us next time as we continue on our adventure.